got that feeling. Got the feeling they forgot something. Did I forget something? I don't think so. Maybe I did. Hi, it's me, Scott. How are you today? I hope you are all safe and well and doing the things you're supposed to do to remain safe and well. We are gonna play with Fusion 360 today, and this might be a fool's errand. Yeah, it's legal. It's like Bad Romance. It's like that Lady Gaga song. I'm basically the Lady Gaga of CAD. I've got a shiny nose today. I need to powder my nose. Draclin, how are you? So, necromance, no, that's a different thing. That's a totally different thing. So, I've been trying to learn how to use Fusion, and I'm like, we've talked about this before when it comes to learning something. There's like learning the mechanical aspects of it, and then there's learning the conceptual aspects of it. And I'm learning the mechanical aspects, but like there's some conceptual problems where it's like I don't quite understand sometimes the order it wants me to do things or how it wants me to do things. But in general, I really like it compared to things like Maya or Illustrator, where part of the power of those programs, you can do anything and it's free and it's open, it's willy-nilly, whatever. But I usually, partially just because of the way my brain works, I usually want to operate within specific constraints. I want things to be specific sizes. I want them to have specific relationships. I want them to snap together and connect together. And so from what I have done in Fusion 360, it's starting to feel like this is the program I want. I don't know that I would ever use it to create like art assets. I don't think it's quite right for that. Maybe I need something somewhere between a CAD program and Illustrator. I don't exactly know what that is. Maybe Sketch. Okay, awesome. Draclin, have a good morning. See you soon. So, yeah. We've been going all over the place working on the parametric creatures. I feel like I have a mental handle on that, but I think I don't want to take it much further until next week when I talk to the museum. Because I think I want to talk to them about the general idea, because I think it will be fun and I think it will be interesting, but I guess I want to get their take before I go too far, because at the very base level, it'll be me basically making a character creator, like in its simplest forms, which I've worked on a character creator before, and it's pretty fun. So I feel like I can do that. Now, like we talked about yesterday, that we want to take it to the next level where you are not directly driving the parameters, but you are driving rules that drive the parameters. And that gets a little bit insane and a little bit daunting. And at this moment, I think I don't want to do that. Also, like I said yesterday, I think I've been speaking too quickly. So I'm going to try to slow down a little bit. However, I will say this person that I watch, I've been watching their tutorials and I appreciate the tutorials and they did a good job on their Autodesk tutorials, but they speak so slowly. This person says every single instruction of what you should do at an incredibly slow rate. And even though I typically watch tutorials on double speed, doubling this person's speed just makes them sound like a normal human. So I don't know. I want to try to strike a balance with that. Okay, so anyways, let's do the most important part of the stream, which is pick some wallpaper. And then we're going to try something. I don't know. We're going to try something. Anyway. What is this strange friend? Aurora Borealis. Flycode, how's it going? What's up today? This is a woman in Norway getting her eyebrows threaded. I should say a person in Norway getting their eyebrows threaded. Okay. Weird. Not exactly what I was expecting. I feel like we've been in this location a lot. I like that picture, but I think we want a different location. This is pretty cool. What are your weekend plans? Also, Flycode, how's the audio level, the music level? I tried a different approach to setting the music level. Does it seem too loud? Kind of seems a little too loud to me. but I hear a different thing than what goes over the stream. Some nice Norwegian berries. Not feeling any of these today. It's been good. I had kind of forgotten it was Friday. We had some good Friday wallpaper. Okay, awesome. Maybe I made it too quiet last time, and today maybe we've done it a little better. I used to, when I first started streaming, I would always stop and I would listen to the stream before I streamed, but I'm trying to get a little, I don't know. I mean, there's a certain thing with creative endeavors where there's the stuff you need to worry about and the stuff you should not worry about. And I'm trying to not worry about the things that don't warrant worry because I have plenty of things to worry about already. So I'm trying to make this process of streaming as fluid for myself as I can so that I can worry about the content of the work that I'm doing and these reindeer. Norway's not doing it. Maybe we've exhausted Norway. Maybe it's time to move on to somewhere else. Life is Yours would be very upset to hear me say that. Get that street a lot. Let's go with this. Okay, so oh my gosh, properly use the social networks. I don't know that that's possible. I don't know if it's possible. Good luck to you with that one. That's another one of those things that you can stress a lot about. I definitely know people that stress quite a bit about their social media presence. I almost always fully avoid it until I feel like I have to do something, because there is something nice. I will say the studies we did last week, I think, it's nice to produce a little study and then put it in the world and get some validation, and that feels good. But then I started realizing I'm catering my work towards making these studies. Like I'm spending time to make a study, which is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be going for this big picture. And at a certain point, trying to make these little studies, while they can be useful, if I worry too much about polishing them to put them on Instagram or whatever, it's a distraction from the real thing I'm trying to do. I don't know. I have never found that balance. I've been trying to find it for, 15 years now? When did Twitter start? I don't post to Twitter anymore. Maybe I won't post to Instagram. I don't know what to do. It's a complicated world out there. I need a social media manager. Draclin. I'm going to hire Draclin. Okay, we are going to do something dangerous, and we're going to open Fusion 360. In fact, no, let's do another thing first. Here's what I want to try today. And this may be kind of a disaster and kind of a mess, because I want to just draw some drawings first. Oh, this is good. Great. What's wrong? Oh, I guess that's interesting. Just remotely shut down Fusion on that other computer? Weird. Yeah, you're right. It's a different goal. Oh, that's interesting. You're an accountant. Cool. So you like precise numbers. Although actually, here's the thing about, I feel like there's, like accountant as in managing people's taxes, like helping them do their taxes, that kind of accountant? Is that the only kind of accountant? Or like an accountant for a business that manages their day-to-day finances? Because I feel like I've in working with my accountant, I feel like I've made some discoveries about accounting that were a little shocking to me. That's you? So here's the thing about that was surprising to me, and you know more about this than me because you're the thing. But like in my mind, when you think of accounting, you think of it's all about precision. It's like exact numbers, exact values. And when I feel like the normal connotation of an accountant is like, oh yeah, it's a person who's gonna nail it. Like incredibly precise numbers, everything is accurate, it's all mathematical, beautifully mathematical. And maybe that's true for the day-to-day managing of the numbers, but my impression of the way tax law actually works is so much of it is just that seems right. Like for business expenses, whatever it is, it's I forgot what the law says. The law says something crazy. The law says something like reasonable and something. So it's like the most subjective thing possible. And so sometimes in talking to my accountant, it's like, yes, the numbers are accurate down to the penny, no question. But then when it's time to, do we deduct this or we don't deduct it? It's like, I think we can say we can't. Like it was weirdly very subjective, I guess. Seems like the bitrate is struggling. I wonder why that is. Now it's okay? Everything's okay? Okay, here's what we're gonna try to do. I'm just gonna do a few sketches, and I wanna do them in Procreate, so we're gonna try game capture. Okay, we're off to a great start. Nope, there it is, it actually worked. So, I'm just starting to try to use Procreate for sketches. And I'm trying to get over this, but I'm still a very scribbly sketcher. And so one thing I like about Procreate, I feel like I can sketch and then very easily ink over with straight lines if I want to. So I'm focused on the enclosure for our hardware today, or part like the whole fixture, the whole component. Like, what does this whole thing look like? And in fact, I think we'll probably see ridiculous things in my gallery. But like I did a rough drawing just of this, just super rough. I don't think this is really what it looks like. I don't think this is really how it works. But this was like just the start of thinking like, well, what is this thing like? What's it laid out? How does it, so maybe it's something like this, but not this. I think like there's some aesthetic issues we want to address here. I don't know if that middle part's a hexagon or not. Obviously, there's no place to put any wires or hardware. Obviously, there's no measurements, or these things are not actually assembled in a way that makes sense. So we want to start getting away from this and then start thinking about like, okay, what's the real world version of this? Like how do we want to go about this? So, and I will say, I'm very new at this approach because I'm very much a like wing it kind of fabricator. Like I'll do some drawings, measurements, maybe do some layout in Illustrator, but like definitely not engineer, architect, CAD professional kind of approach to things where it's like, no, you should know every aspect of the fabrication of this thing before you stand up from your computer. Like every screw, everything should be totally figured out. Where I'm way more like, I'll get a piece of wood, I'll cut this, I think it fits. Well, how do we want to put this together? I don't know. Pocket screws, visible fasteners, I don't know, whatever. Like, I'm trying to get away from that for a lot of reasons, but mainly just with the work that I've been doing in the last couple of years, I've been working with people that know how to do that, and it's giving me some CAD envy. Good accountants use, yeah, I mean, it really does seem like shades of gray. Like and so sometimes that's difficult for me because I am a very analytically precise-minded person. And so sometimes it's really difficult for me to say like, oh, we should deduct this or not deduct this or whatever. I really rely on my accountant to help with that. I feel like the camera is a little blown out again. Yes, the gain inexplicably, I don't know what does that. Now the camera seems dark, so we're really struggling today. But I think I like this more. I don't know, man. Okay, back over here. So let's just start drawing some drawings just to think a little bit about the thing I want to make. So what I think the thing I want to make looks a little like this. I think there's a box, and it's just a box. Just a box. And it's probably 3/4 inch plywood. And it probably has some kind of top with an overhang. So this is probably like the upper part, like the actual sort of kiosk-like thing that you'd interact with as a user. Maybe if we do those looking glass displays, maybe they stick up a little bit, or maybe they're recessed a little bit inside the box. Maybe we've got knobs and dials here and wires and Arduinos and whatever. But in general, that's all like holes and attachments. As far as what the shape is, it's a box. And then where I was going earlier, like, traditionally, you can imagine making stuff like this. So like a very traditional kind of kiosk sort of layout and screens on the front. And that's okay, but it's so much, there's so much weight to it. Like, you end up with this big, heavy thing. And in my experience, like a fair number of things I've worked on at the Children's Museum that are like this are mostly empty. They're just put together like this because it's kind of easy, and it's easy to hide wires, and it's easy to hide things in. And it's, you know, it's an object and you can approach it. These objects look reasonably nice, but they're just like big monoliths. So what I want to try to do is have the upper part up here, this thing, be the heavy part, and then have some lighter supports for that thing. And that means there's problems. It's like, where do we put the wires? Where do we put the computer? Where do we put anything? I don't know. So what I'm kind of thinking is that on the sides of this, we'll have something that looks like this. It's something like there's a box down here where maybe we have a computer, or maybe we have whatever goes in this box. There's some kind of radius up here. And then we just have something kind of like this. And then this is an attachment point for this. So then now we've got this thing. And we just attach our box to this thing. And I kind of like that. I kind of like it because, one, I think it just kind of is as a more interesting shape. It makes the shape a little more open, because from the front, it's going to be more like this. We're going to have all this open space in the middle. These are not good drawings, but that's okay. And I think I prefer that. I think I kind of like that. That is a horrible drawing. That drawing conveys nothing. But okay. But hopefully you get it. Let's maybe try that a little bigger. So we'll just draw it next to this drawing. So from the side, we'd have that one drawing from the side, and then so maybe from the front, it's kind of like this. And then, you know, if it was kind of orthographic and weirdly flat, it'd be something like this. And our little attachments are here on the side. So I think I'm into that. And that gives us a couple things. It gives us, if this thing down here is a box, my hands are really shaky for some reason. It's maybe the angle that I'm sitting. If that down there is a box, then we feel like, okay, we can put, if we need whatever hardware that isn't specifically display or interaction hardware, can go down there if it needs to. Like, I don't know if this is true, but it may be that each one of these needs a computer. Maybe each of these needs one of those Udo bolts that has a decent GPU. Maybe that goes in here. I'm not totally sure about that. Maybe that could even go in the upper part. I'm not sure, but I'm going to give myself that leeway to say, like, if I have additional hardware I need to hide, it can go down here. Then we have a problem of we need to get cables from down here to up here, which is kind of a problem. But I have some ideas for that. One idea is that we make a sandwich where we actually have two thicknesses of plywood for these sidebars. I say plywood because the goal here is to make this CNC, all on a CNC router. So yeah, these side pieces would be double thickness. And so like if we did one sort of, the battery's going to die soon, and then we'll have to stop what we're doing. You know, we can start using Procreate to draw straight lines for us. And maybe we want a little taper on those edges, maybe. I didn't do that very well. I wish the snapping was a little more, I wish you could just like be in always snap mode. And then this just has some kind of radius up here, and there's some kind of attachment here. It's like the time that it takes to snap is just a little too long for me. It just makes me slightly impatient. So we end up with something like that from the side, which I think could look reasonably nice. And then from the front, it would be something like The double width, I'm not entirely sure I want to do that, but it's the best way I can think of to hide wires. So this would be a double thickness of 3/4 ply. Yeah, like I want to just be in like a mode that is only draw lines mode. And then what we would do is on these inner parts, there'd be like kind of an invisible channel routed between those, and we could sandwich the wires in between. Maybe that's a terrible idea, or maybe it's a good idea. Hard to say. I don't know yet if I think it's a good idea or a bad idea. Yeah, I don't know. It could be like, I think it could pretty easily be 1/2 inch, certainly. Where we do a quarter, like route out a 1/4 inch channel on both sides, but 1/2 inch isn't a ton. You know, when I look at an HDMI cable, it'd probably be hard to run cables through it once it was assembled, I guess is the biggest concern. So that would be, maybe it could be more than 1/2 inch. I guess it could be up to, we could route 1/2 inch on both sides and have a full inch. That seems like a lot. I mean, if it was 3/4 total, yeah, what if, we wouldn't want it to be 3/4 total. I guess it could be. I had to think about that. I don't exactly know what I think is the best. We could do 3/8 on each side. That would probably work. 3/8 on each side would probably be okay. And then that would give us, well, that's 3/4, right? Maybe that's too much. Okay, anyway, whatever. Something to figure out later. And then and maybe this box isn't all the way to the floor, actually. I think this box, maybe we like this box more if it's a little elevated. That's probably not there. Well, he has a lid. And then we could put whatever we wanted in that lid. And maybe that lid slides in. Maybe there's little slots on the side, or maybe it screws from the top. I don't know. I mean, we have lots of opportunities to sort of like pocket things out if we want to. Have to think about that, how we want to do that. And then, so that'd be kind of the base. And then upstairs, it's like, oh, whatever. This is just going to look crazy. Sort of our orthographic view. That was not very straight. Really, we have another little dude there. Definitely not as tall as it's supposed to be. That feels crazy. That feels crazy tall, but here we are. You know, and then if we want to, we can like paint it a little for no reason, just for kicks. And it's probably just plywoody. That's big. That's big. We don't really actually want any opacity on this, but I already have opacity on this, so too bad. This doesn't really help anything. I just want to color, I guess. Just coloring. Maybe we paint the plywood, maybe we laminate it. I kind of like the idea of laminating it. At least laminating the surface. Maybe the lid, the sides, maybe a mix of Baltic birch plywood and like some kind of black laminate. I think it could look kind of cool. Maybe. But I think we want to try to make something like this. This is what we want to try to make today. And it seems like it should be achievable, right? The biggest thing I don't actually know is the how to rotate this upper piece, that upper tilted piece. I don't know. So I kind of want to like build it in place vertically and then maybe rotate it. I assume that's something we can do, but I know nothing because I'm very new to Fusion 360. So let me just keep this drawing over here so I can see what's going on. So when I was speaking earlier about not exactly knowing how to I'm starting to get the mechanical parts of Fusion 360, meaning I can navigate the program and use it, but the conceptual parts are still coming. And one of those issues is like just the notion of, well, where do you start? Like what is the right place to start this drawing? Is it that bottom box? Is it one of the side walls? I don't actually know. I don't feel like I know the answer. There's also the idea of having sort of various parametric functions to say like how things work and how they move and on and on. I think we're going to start with the bottom box. I don't know if it's the right idea. I do kind of want to do this parameters thing though, because I was watching a tutorial on it and it seems cool if I can. So we've got this thing, this user parameters thing. And so I could do things like board, like thickness. And I can say that, oh wait, am I doing this correctly? I don't want is expression just a number? Okay, so that's my plywood thickness, for example. And I may say that the base width, let's just start with some numbers, is going to be 18 inches. And the base depth is going to be 12 inches. I think that's actually not right. How can I edit this? Can I not? That would be dumb if I couldn't. I can edit the name. I can't edit the units. I can edit everything except for... Okay. Let's do something. Let's change our units to be inches. Just because I would, you know, my brain works in inches. Kind of feel like I can stick this somewhere. Okay. Well, I guess we have to throw these away. So thickness is going to be 0.75 inches. That's how thick our plywood will be. Base depth will be the base of that box. And base width will be 18 inches. What I said? Okay, so using this, we should be able to kind of make everything we need totally parametrically with these values. Does that seem true? Seems maybe true. Still not exactly sure where to start. We want like a box height probably, actually, too. So this is going to be the height of that box. And let's say it's a 4-inch box. I don't know, but maybe it's a 4-inch box. And the box floor offset, let's say it is 4 inches off the floor. 4-inch box, it's 4 inches off the floor. I don't know. So I'm going to start by drawing that. Problem is it doesn't go on the ground. So I think we need an offset plane where we're going to say the ground, but box floor offset is how high from the floor we are. So we are now 4 inches from the ground, I think, on this guy. And now if I want to, and this seems weird to start here, but I honestly don't know where else to start. So we're just going to do it. Now we want to draw on this. And we know we kind of want not a 2-point rectangle. We kind of want a center rectangle. And our center rectangle is going to be how big? It's going to be 18 inches wide. So this is box. No, this is base width minus thickness. Oops. Times 2. Although I think this is the base depth. I think. I'm like turned around in space, so we'll see. And then we actually want the other dimension, so I've lost that other dimension somehow. So let me add it. So this one is base width minus thickness times 2. And the reason being is we want it to be 18 inches after we build a box around it. Right? So knowing we want to, if that's the bottom of this box, man, this gets weird. This gets kind of weird. But I guess it's okay. We'll figure it out. Now we want to extrude this by thickness. I don't know any of the shortcuts. That's one. Oops. Come back. Extrude this by thickness. And it's going to be a new body. Okay, so this is our base. And now if we want to do the sidewalls and the lid while we're at it for the base, which we can do, we we could do the sidewalls a few different ways. I think we just draw on this face. So that's one of the big concepts here, is that everything is related to something. Like everything has to, everything is attached to something or related to something else in some way. So we want a 2-point rectangle, I think. And the width is just our base width. And this is our box height. Do we think that box height includes the lid? Does box height include the lid, or is it like... I don't know. I mean, because we already lose the depth here. So if we wanted to say, like, if the whole height of that thing needs to be the box height, should be box height minus thickness, I guess, because if we're saying the lid is going to be part of that. And this was base width. Okay. Wait, why didn't you do your thing? This was box height. Shoot. Box height minus thickness. And this was base width. That doesn't... Why is that not right? Oh, of course, because it actually is base... It's the same formula. It's base width minus thickness times 2. Okay. So now we have this box, and we want to also extrude it. Outwards. One side by thickness. Okay, but we didn't want it to become part of our box. We want it to be a new body. So extrude this face, new body, 0.75. Don't join, new body. Okay, so that's the piece of wood that goes on that side. So now if we want to mirror this, still learning the shortcuts, for sure. If we want this same dude on the other side, we should be able to mirror it. And since we're in the middle, I think we can just say mirror. And we want to mirror bodies. And we want to select this body. And the mirror plane is just going to be our, what is this, our XZ plane? Or X, yeah. Okay. We made a box. Incredible. Can you believe that we've done this? I know it's hard to believe. Okay, now we want our box to have a lid. So either the box lid... So the height of this should actually be like 3.25. One would hope. So that when we put the lid on the whole thing is 4. Now a cool thing is right now, I believe we can, if we went and decided that our box height should change and should actually be 6 inches, it'll just change for us. Okay, so we want a lid. Probably. So I guess the question is, do we want the lid like related to one of these sides? I guess we do. Oh shoot, I didn't make a component. I didn't make a component. What if I can just add these to a component? This is kind of the box. I want all of these. Okay, can I just do create components? I don't want 3 components. I want one box with 3 bodies. How do I do this? So this is one of those situations where it's like, oh no, have I like done some irreversible damage here? Right, that I just don't know how to recover from. Seems like we're okay. I can just add. Okay, my sketches. Okay, I think maybe we're okay. Let's add a new component. And it'll have, okay. So we still want to be working on our box. Let's add our lid. Maybe these should be separate components. I don't actually know. So either we need to make an offset, like a new plane, and offset it from that, or we build it on one of these. I don't know that I have a super strong preference, but I kind of just wanted to say that it's the box floor offset plus box height minus thickness. Maybe that's right. It looks correct. I don't know if that's the best way to do that. Maybe it should actually have some relationship to some other thing. I don't know. I don't know. Probably it should have a relationship to this. I'm really not sure. Let's start a new sketch. I mean, I'm sure I'm doing everything wrong all over the place, but. So now, let's just do, so here's the thing though. I don't know, like, if I want this to be related to these, I have to project them through, but maybe we don't actually care about that. And we just want a center rectangle again, and we just will manually put in our sizes once again. And this will be box depth, base depth. Why does that seem like base depth? And this will be the base width minus thickness times 2. Okay, so that kind of looks like a thing. And now we want to extrude this guy by thickness. And it is going to be a new body. Okay. We have created a box. What a glorious day. Can you believe we've done this? It's like we're total pros. Okay, now, what do we want to do? We could make a new plane on this that's like here to start drawing that side view. I kind of think that's what we want to do. And we could draw it on one of these edges, but I sort of don't want to. I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Okay, we want to offset this plane by how much? We want 1/2 of that base. Well, actually, it's base divided by 2 minus the thickness of one side. And it's base what? Width? That appears to be correct. Okay. So we're going to draw on, let's start a new, this is our new component now. This is like side panel, side panel. I don't know. Let's start a sketch here. So the way this side panel works is if we want it to go all the way to the ground, and then it is rectangular up to this point, but then we'll curve up above. So first thing, I think we just want a box. How do we want to do this without? I mean, we sort of know where the center is. Rectangular pattern, a center, 3-point triangle, 3-point rectangle. What do you have? What does the third point do? Let's do it this way. I don't know. Okay, or maybe we do this. How about, let's do it this way. We'll draw a line that is our construction line. And it's going to go from here. I don't actually know how to do this correctly, by the way. Okay, the height of this line needs to be box floor offset plus the box height. And this is a construction line. This line just needs to like tell us what's up. Okay, so we know this feels good. We're like, yes, that is 10 inches from floor to the top of the box. So if we have a midpoint, how do we get a line that's like, do I have to wait until after I draw the thing to do the midpoint constraint? Maybe I do. Okay, let's try just making a rectangle. And that rectangle, we know the height is box floor offset plus box height. And the width is box. This is the base depth. Okay, so this should be the right size. It's not a construction line, or should not be. Like this box, we want this box. We love it. It should be the right size. It appears to be the right size. We want to do like a midpoint. Almost. We want to do like a midpoint from the middle of here to here. How do I do that? Midpoint. Can I not do it because this thing doesn't have a midpoint? I'm not understanding things. Okay. Well, I don't know if that feels very good, but like, we did it. We also have some very silly, like, double dimensions. Oops. No, not a fillet. Okay. Let's extrude this. by 0.75. Oh, let's not extrude it yet. Sorry. This is just the bottom. So now we want to come up with our whatever our upper friend is. So let's change this actually and say now we just want this. We didn't really do, we need like a stand height, maybe something to make the height, the whole thing. So like panel height. Can I like drag this up somewhere else? Okay. So the side height, I don't know, but I'm gonna say 28 inches. And so oops. Well, don't do that. We need, I guess we need another construction line. That is, always hit, I think I need to click and drag here and I don't. So this is side height. So that's going to be the top of this. So if I want to create a circle. I think I want a 2-point circle. Of some radius. I don't know what the radius is. So let's do our, somehow there's a way to add this like up. To the menu at the top, but I don't know how to do it. Okay, so this will be, let's say this has a, this is actually going to be the diameter. Even though we're radiusing the edge, it's really going to be a diameter. Let's just call it a radius and then double it. Let's just say 4 inches. I don't know. And then let's do a 2-point circle. And it needs to be our side top radius times 2. And this is not construction. So that seems really big, right? Seems too big. That seems too small. Split the difference. Okay, so now we want to do a thing. Which is, I don't know how to do it, but let's try it. I think we want to do this and then just like click the edge of this. Oops. You're not construction. Line. Here to here. So we have tangent constraints that it did for us automatically, which is great. I kind of want a tangent constraint between this line and this line. Can I not do that? I just want to control the angle at which that comes in. Or maybe, oh, clearly I don't know how to do that. Like, yeah, we were able to do that. So is it like, I just wanted to like add a radius here. And that already has that. So how can I do this? Maybe I can't. If I wanted a little bit of a curve in here, I don't know exactly how I would do that. And I guess I could fill it. But I'd only want to curve the top part, not the bottom. I don't know the answer. Maybe I won't worry about it right now because I'm sure I will be redrawing this. Okay, we got this thing. Somehow it doesn't seem very tall. It's kind of little, right? But at any time, we should just be able to edit that side box height, this side height, and make it 30 inches, for example. And everything should be cool. Okay, well, let's go ahead and extrude this because I don't know how to do the other thing. So extrude you by thickness. Look at there. Okay, and this time we want to mirror this, but we want to mirror the whole component, I think. So this whole component. Should probably save this, huh? Using an unfamiliar program without saving. Okay, just in case Autodesk is going to try to show something secret, because who knows. Admin project, new project. Okay. All right, it took us an hour to make this. we're doing great. So now here's the thing about this other box. How do I make it and like let myself because I can still move things around. How do I make this box and still let myself rotate it? I don't know the answer. So We'll call this, and down there's the box. This is the side panel. We mirrored the side panel. So now up here, we want to make a thing called the what? Enclosure? I don't call it the control, like the surface, the control interface, the panel. What is a word for this? Kind of also like reconsidering this, and maybe it'd be cooler if this was vertical and then it came down like this, but I don't know. Okay, this, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's make a new component. I don't know what to call it. We'll call it the enclosure. Okay, so how do we want to draw this? We can draw it the same way that we draw our other box, kind of from the bottom up. How do you rotate a component? We gotta look it up. How do you rotate a component? Move. Only if the move object is a body or a sketch does it create a move feature in the timeline. I see. So we could then do this after we made the whole thing. You'd have to have a specific pivot, etc., etc. Okay. Well, okay. So how do we want to... Do we want to make a new plane? Do we want to start with one of these surfaces that we already have? Do I want to just make it on the ground next to it and then put it into place? Maybe that's what I want to do. Let's just do that. Maybe. Yeah, let's do it. Let's try, at least. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. That seems like not what I wanted to do, because I'm on the bottom of the thing. Enclosure, create a sketch. Okay, let's make a sketch over here. So we know that the enclosure width, we know. The enclosure height, And the enclosure depth, we don't know, but we could make up. So let's set some more parameters and have an enclosure height, and it's 6 inches. And let's have a, oops, oh no, enclosure height, that is 6 inches. And let's have an enclosure depth, that is, let's also make it 12 inches for now, because I don't really know. That doesn't have to be the same as the base. Could be, doesn't have to be. So let's do a center rectangle. Over here somewhere, I guess. I do want to snap to grid. And we know that it needs to be base width minus thickness times 2. And we know that this then would be enclosure depth, which in this case happens to be the same as the thing next to it, but that doesn't really have to be true. Okay. So I mean, that's kind of wrong, because this then needs walls inside of it. So if this is truly the bottom panel that we're going to build around, then we actually need it's actually minus thickness times 4, because we'll be doubling it up. And we're building no tolerances here, but we'll see how that goes. Probably a bad idea, but you know, it's wood. Wood's bendy, right? Okay, so now we can extrude this 0.75, and now we have the bottom of what is going to be our enclosure. And so now we want to basically do the same thing that we did to build our box, which was what? I don't remember. I think we just did this. Maybe. And this is, I mean, we could just do, can't we just do constraints? To like constrain this? Is that what, no? The wrong constraint? It's over constrained. Okay, so actually, so do I need to get rid of some of the constraints that I have on this? And then constrain. Well, wait. The height we're happy with, because we're just going to say that the height is enclosure height minus thickness. So that one's fine. this, can we constrain this to be equal to this? And if so, why isn't it? Okay. That good? Okay, that thing is all constrained to heck, right? So now we can extrude this by thickness, and it will be a new body. And then we can mirror it. And we're gonna mirror bodies, this body by on this plane. Well, interesting. We've done something not well. We need to like create a mid-plane like that. That's how we'd mirror one side. Let's hide this body, and then I truly need to stress that I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like it's critical that I'm very I've just watched some tutorials on YouTube. That's all I know. Okay, so now can we mirror? We want to mirror not components, bodies, and we want to mirror on this plane. That seems correct. I don't remember how we decided to do. I guess we'll just sketch on this again and then make a rectangle. And we know this rectangle is box. No, enclosure depth by box height minus thickness. And we actually don't want it constrained here. What's preventing me from doing this? There's some other constraint at play, right? Okay, let's try this again. I'm gonna create a sketch here. And I think I actually want to like create it somewhere else. Maybe. And then just snap it into place and say that this is, well, we can constrain this. Well, this is box depth. No, enclosure depth minus thickness. Why does that seem just tremendously wrong? Oh, it's enclosure height. My terminology is maybe a bit confusing. Okay, and then this, we just say it's whatever, because now we want to say it's just equal to that, but it's not really equal to this. It's confusing, because it really is box, no, enclosure, no, it's a base width minus thickness times 4. I mean, I'm just relating it to those base parameters because that's what I know. And it's not box width, it's box depth. It's just box depth because this sits on the outside. That still doesn't look right. It's right. Okay. So now can I midpoint somebody? Like, I feel like a place that I feel like I'm making a lot of mistakes is just choosing what to relate to what. Because I'm relying on relating back to original parameters a lot rather than relating it to the thing that's right in front of me. And that may be unwise. So this should be a new body. And then now we can mirror this. And we want to select bodies and mirror. I mean, the way I'm doing all this stuff may be totally wrong. Okay. And then now we want to make a lid for the box. So we keep doing planes. Oh, let's just plane it up, I guess. And this is box height minus thickness. And that is, we're going to do a new sketch on here. And what we want to do, I think we just want to do a center rectangle. Because these are going to be, we didn't add a parameter for this. Like enclosure lip. We say we want 1 inch on all sides, maybe. 1.5 inches on all sides, 2 inches on all sides. I don't know. Start with 1 inch. A center rectangle that is going to be what? Well, the width is just base width minus thickness times 2, because it has to be to fit inside. And this will be box depth plus 2 times, no, not box depth, enclosure depth. Have I been doing that? Plus 2 times enclosure overhang. Well, that has me worried that I've suddenly, like, oops, been using box stuff to define enclosure stuff. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so, and then now we want to extrude this by thickness. Does that look right? Something looks weird. Somehow our plane that we started on didn't we make those sidewalls? because I said box height. I didn't say enclosure height. Your enclosure depth, your base width, that seems good. You are enclosure height minus thickness. Seems good. Didn't I say this was enclosure height minus thickness? I don't understand why this plane is there. Oh, because we have this selected and not the ground plane. Oops. So I don't know if I can I reselect the plane? Looks like I pick the bottom of this. Well, that's annoying. Let's do this. We'll select the inside of this, and it will be -2 times thickness. Okay. Now we have an enclosure. Our enclosure looks very shallow, but I should be able to change enclosure height to 8 inches and have it automatically scale up. Look at that. This is magic of parametric design. Okay, so the I think I would like to do now, and I don't know how, that's weird. Every time I save, it just does a user saved thing. I have to name all my individual saves. That's interesting. Okay, so what I want to do is move this so that it's like where I want it. So how can I snap it to something? Like I want to take this basically, but not this. Like, how do I create a thing that will let me snap some part of this to some part of this? Like, I can make a rigid joint like that, but that's not what I want, really. I need to move it before I create the joint, presumably. How would one do such a thing? I definitely saw someone do that in a video, but now I don't remember how they did it. That's weird. I want to move components. I want this component. I want to select an axis, but it like doesn't give me an axis. And it almost does. That's not really where I want to rotate from, though. I want to rotate on a line that goes through the middle. Point to point, point to position. Select the point. And now what? So this point I see. That would like kind of let me move it over and then move it up. Okay, that could sort of work to kind of get it into place. I don't know. I don't know if I feel like there's an easier way to do this that I don't understand. But how do I, like, I can grab these, oh, I can grab a midpoint there. Okay. Well, that was supposed to, no. That's my origin point. And then my target point, I actually want to be like the middle of this. I feel like everything's broken. All right, I want to select a component. You're the component. The origin point that I want to select is you. The target point that I want to select is you. And now I say okay. So that was almost okay. It exposes some problems with like the relationship of the height of our box to that radius, or like the depth of this enclosure. This all may be way too big, by the way. I don't really, like this is 1.5 feet wide. I don't, without having the measurements for the actual components, I don't know anything about this, the sizes things should be. So I could imagine though, okay, let's undo that, because I feel like that was almost, good. But either we need like a smaller radius or we need a smaller radius. Let's try 2 inches. That seemed small, but maybe it's not actually that small. And let's try a slightly greater box depth. Box height. Oh, we did make that 8 inches. Okay. Now, maybe this is all, maybe that was a mistake to do both of those things. Let's try and move. Oh no. Okay. Move. Components. This component. Point to point. Origin point. This point. Target point. This point. Done. Okay, now, how do I rotate this? So move, rotate this component, the axis that I want to rotate on is actually through the middle of this, and that's what I don't know how to use that. Like, I can only see edges here. So I don't understand, even with free move, with a set pivot. Is that right? Oh, that was me setting the pivot. I see. Select this component, free move, set pivot. Now my pivot is set. And I can change this to 30 degrees. Oh my gosh, it's almost, if you didn't know, if you just like showed up right now and had not watched any of the rest of the whatever, first hour and a half of this, You might almost look at this and be like, hey, this person knows something. This person knows how to use Fusion. We have no fasteners. We have no fillets. We have like no screen hardware or any other kind of hardware. But like, I made an object. So that's something. I made an object here today. I am pretty into this. I feel like if I could really... First of all, it makes me need, like, I want a laser cutter and a CNC router and a 3D printer. I'm still kind of on the fence, 3D printers, honestly. We could choose to fillet some corners if we wanted. Not you. No, not you. You. 2-inch radius is probably way too big. 1/2-inch radius. Just round it off a little bit. Maybe that's too much. Doesn't matter. It's all parametric. We can change it later if we want to. Okay. I'm kind of into this. I'm not totally in love with it. This upper part does seem very large and very bulky, but that's at least partially because I don't actually know how big it needs to be. Maybe it doesn't need to be even close to that big. We also don't really have a cable management solution. What the cable management solution might be is like that panel that I mentioned, or like some double thickness thing, and then cable go. I don't know. Like the whole construct, like the way this works, this whole doodad really makes the cables even more complicated, honestly. So that is a concern for sure. I don't really need this to be able to swivel. I just kind of want it to be, and also I'm indecisive, and it would let me decide later exactly what angle to put it at, but it does complicate cable management, certainly. Because there's got to be some cable that goes in there. At like absolute minimum, cable that could go from here to here is probably power, HDMI, and USB. Is maybe the absolute minimum. The double thickness thing would be one approach. Or you like make some design feature that is where the cables go, like you do it on purpose. You have some kind of weird tube that goes from the center of this, like up and around to the back. Which could look kind of cool, maybe, I don't know. Like there's just some flexible cable tube that goes up there. Like, I think you either have to hide it entirely, where you can't see any cables except for maybe there's some little piece where like the cable comes out here and goes under here, and that would be okay. Or you need to say like, no, the cable is just a fundamental part of this object. Or you find a way to do this whole thing, this whole like, this whole look, but with pipe on the side, something like that. Okay, so now that I made a kiosk, what I'm actually pretty curious about is like, could I now add a constraint to this? Okay, I'm not gonna worry about that right this minute, but. So having a kiosk should mean that I can make a new file and place this, like make a new design and then place it in there. Where that says kiosk v2. Okay, I see. Okay, great. Now it says v3. That I could like insert. So this would be like the whole exhibit. Can't open now. Please try again. What are you talking about? Okay, so if I insert derive the kiosk, insert derive, select a source, kiosk, select. Why does it take me over here? Oh, select what? Oh, but it didn't do the place thing. I think we have to do like, because right, that was something it said about rigid or move commands not appearing. That's weird. Cut pasted bodies. Okay, so can I do like enclosure, a symbol, and just do a rigid? Capture the current position or continue in previous position. Capture position. I mean, can I just do this whole thing? Since I don't know what I'm doing, and just make a rigid group. And save this. And now update all latest. Okay. So what I kind of want to know how to do now is how could I take this. I want the kiosk. And I want to like circularly mirror it. So I guess maybe first I have to move it. Move the whole component. So if it was a 60-inch radius, then it would be 30 inches. I mean, I'm sorry, 60-inch diameter would be a 30-inch radius. So let's call it 35. And then I think we can do this like a circle pattern. Capture that position. One component around the y-axis 3 times. Cool. Pretty pleased. I mean, I don't know anything about whether these are going to be what the things look like. In fact, speaking of look like, let's go back here and do an appearance. And find some wood. Wood and wood solid. Unfinished. Painted. Glossy Pine. I have to download it. What? A live update currently in progress is restart to get the latest goods. Okay. Well, that's weird, but so do I need to just quit? How did you do anything? How do you quit this program? I push that button. Did it close? Okay. I feel like I'm gonna just tentatively say I feel like I'm starting to fall for this program a little bit. My recent data. This. Open this. I'm all set with the update. Cool. Okay, we want to go to here. Let's try this again. No. A is for appearance. Wood. Kind of want the top surface to be black, but. We'll just do 3D pine, even though it wouldn't really be pine. Do some Baltic birch, usually. Okay. Let's say some semi-gloss pine. Download it. Download it. Silly. Okay. I don't like that pine. Also, you don't seem glossy. You seem glossy at all. Very oaky. Sad there's no Baltic birch plywood in here. Also, it's weird that the search doesn't work. Oh, it says, oh, is that search only? What have I done? Why does this look like a spooky ghost? Oh, okay. Downloading some cool wood, that's all. Really looks like a mess. Maybe the pine was the least offensive. Where are these? Okay, let's just go with this because we're just gonna go with it. But where were those other materials? Whoa. Why is there only glossy paint though? Kind of like the idea of laminating some surfaces. Like a black laminate. Might look nice, might not. But I think I like that idea. But I don't understand why there is black matte plastic. Just want some semi-gloss paint. I assume there's other ways to download stuff for this. Or that you can't just like set the color too. That's a little weird. There must be other ways to download. Okay, we'll just do. I mean, I want like wall paint, not like glossy enamel car paint. Also, I only want it on the surface here. Unless your face. Maybe this face. Maybe on the side faces? I don't know, is that crazy? I put that on the wrong thing. Okay, I don't know. Let's go back to the thing we're doing, which was coming here. And now we want to update these all to the latest. Why are these guys not updated? Doesn't seem weird? Why did you only update one of my friends? Unclear. Let's do something. Let's create a component and call it riser. I don't know what to call it. We'll call it a riser. And it will be I think it's a circular surface. And this may be weird, but in fact, we'd probably want to make the riser its own component, you know? But let's do that. Still don't know if this thing is hexagonal or if it's round. Or if it's rounded, a rounded hexagon. I think it's hexagonal. So let's create a sketch and create a polygon that is a circumscribed polygon with 5 sides. So it's going to be 30 inches and it's going to have 5 sides. Don't know why the rotation is done. I would really like it to snap somewhere. Okay. Oh, come on, just snap somewhere. Okay. Okay, so Jacqueline, what's going on? You want to see me make what? What's the what is that? What am I making? A multiple, wait, locket launch system? Is that what that looks like? This looks like like locket launchers? Yeah, cool. I did it. I'm pretty pleased with these. I feel pretty good about this. Like, yeah, locket launcher. That, you know, 360 is a thing. CAD is a thing, but I feel like I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm doing okay. There's a million things about these that are not fully thought out, especially in terms of fasteners. Like, how are these things assembled? You could just staple them all together, or brads, use brads, and it would do the thing, kind of. Thanks. But like, the coolest thing about it, I don't know if you've followed any of this, the coolest thing about all of this is that all of this is fully parametric, and that anytime that I want, I could change the rules about what this object is. So I could say, right now, the stand height right here is 30 inches, but I could decide, that's too short. Let's make it 32 inches. And okay, I lied to you because I actually did. That's the one thing that's not parametric, is the connection between these two things, because I don't know how to do that yet, but it will be. But did you see how the stand adjusted and everything else kind of did what it was supposed to do? Let me pick one that would work better. I could say like the enclosure overhang right here. Or I could say this box. Let's change the height of this box. So instead of being a 6-inch box, it's now a 5-inch total box. And it just adjusts that totally, and everything else conforms to it. I could change this radius of this ring right here. Maybe should actually be 3 inches. And it just automatically adjusts, and it's amazing. Yeah, so in real life, when you make things, especially if you're an architect or an engineer or a product designer, very frequently you do this first, and not just this. You like, this program's astonishing. Like when it's time to do fasteners, I can go look at the entire McMaster car catalog and pick a fastener that I could order. Like, okay, it's exactly this fastener, and I know it's what I want to use to assemble this thing. And I can find, maybe I picked a bad one, but I could say, okay, I want this fastener, and this is exactly what I want to use. I can get a CAD drawing. So I could pick, I don't exactly know which one I'm supposed to pick. One of these things, anyway. I could pick and insert this exact fastener into my project. And so, one, it's how you do the technical drawings that would go to a fabrication house. Because it could be that you're not even going to do this. It's going to go to a fabrication shop in town. It's going to go to China. Like, Who knows? Maybe they just send the parts and you assemble it, or maybe you detail it down to every single fastener and they make it exactly to spec. Maybe you say, hey, just make this box and tell them how to do it, or you explicitly show it in the drawing. So you can make really nice schematics from this. Also, drawings, I guess is what you'd say. You can, straight from this tool, also just 3D print stuff. So if you have a 3D printer, you can straight up 3D print it. It will also let you send, you can get quotes from different 3D printing companies and send stuff straight to be 3D printed. For this thing, since I'm gonna probably cut it on a CNC router, this tool can help you to do the flat layout of the plywood and help you. I don't know how far it takes you exactly. I haven't gone through all of that, but it can at least do part of the process of setting up the tool paths to go to a 3D or to a CNC router, so that a router would cut all this, and then I would just pick up the parts and then assemble them. And that could have all the holes drilled. It's pretty awesome. So it's critical. Like this is how, if you look at something like, let's go back to McMaster Carr. I don't know if I spelled that correctly. And we say, I need to know this tank fitting, like this. I'm the person who designs this thing. Probably before it happened, somebody did detailed CAD drawings for these. So these are like, I don't know what to call these. I would call them a schematic. Maybe that's not the right word, but this is a CAD model of this. And so for any kind of product, whether it's the whole product or it's a part that goes in a product, I think it's fair to say that in most cases, somebody sat down in some CAD software and did the design. And it's nice too, because then, especially since I'm doing a run of these, basically, since I'm doing 3 of these that will be identical, I can set up everything I need to know on how to make one of them. And instead of me having to go to the shop and cut all the boards, I can just lay them all out on the CNC router and cut all 3 all at once and then assemble them. So I'm very excited about learning how to do this, because my fabrication style in the past has been very loose. And I'm still new to this, obviously, but I'm feeling good about it, because I feel like, in the last few years, I've been really divorced from physical fabrication. I've been doing so much screen-based stuff and VR stuff. And part of that is not having a shop, and part of it is because I am very much a person who's like guessing and making decisions and measurements as I work on fabrication. So hopefully this will be a way that even when I'm away from a shop, I can like at least do the design and get it all ready, and then when I show up to the shop, I can just do the work and make it happen, or send it to somebody to get help or whatever. So I'm pretty jazzed about it. So the thing we were going to do is try to make a riser. One of the things about it, though, I will say one more thing, like wrapping your mind around how it makes you want to make things, I really like, but is really different from other 3D software I've used. I haven't really used much CAD software. I used some kind of 2D CAD software years ago in grad school, but it's just a different kind of thinking that I'm used to, although I like it. Okay, I keep saving when there's no changes. So we're trying to make this riser. We think we want it to be pentagonal. Here's the thing about this. Sorry, which shape? This shape, this side triangular shape. Why, I can show you the very drawing that made that shape. So it was a drawing. So that would be side panel. I'm lost. Was that the extrusion of the side panel? I still am not very good at navigating this. I'm looking for the drawing. So here's the drawing I did. So everything you do is a drawing. You do a 2D drawing first, and then you extrude that or loft it or revolve or whatever to make it 3D. So the way I made that shape was, it's basically a rectangle and a circle, and then they're connected together and there's some tangential constraints. Now, I already can tell that I'm doing a bad job here because everything should be in black. Like these things should all be fully constrained, and I don't really understand why that's not true. And I don't understand, like this should be fixed at this height. There's some constraint that I'm missing. Oh wait, it just locked. Okay, it just snapped into place. So maybe that was screwed up, I had it slightly off. So now these are all black and it's all good. And whatever change I just did, this is a timeline that I can watch the whole history of the fabrication of this thing. So I'm like back here in history, and I can still kind of look around and see how this drawing exists in space. And then the next thing I did was extrude it. And then, I can like, how do I get out of here? So I can sort of scrub back into history and see how I made every step of this process. And every one of those two-dimensional drawings is always available. I can always go back. I think yeah, you're right. I think I probably screwed up and messed up the constraints earlier. So now it should be fixed. So that's what a lot of those other pieces were. That's what these things are. Like this is a constraint that says this line has to be vertical. This is a constraint that says this line has to be horizontal. So every drawing is kind of like a combination, ideally, of measurements and of constraints. So like this circle is constrained to this radius, and this radius is set with a variable. Like I can still do stuff with variables. So I have a formula in here that's based on a variable. And these are tangential constraints that control how this curve goes into this line. I want to do that here, but I don't know how. There's like dimensional constraints. So there's things that like this constraint keeps this perpendicular. I think that's what this one is. This constraint keeps it locked to the midpoint. It's amazing. It's so good. It's so good. And I don't even know how to use it. Like I barely know how to use it. So I mean, you could. In fact, I could have done this drawing. I just didn't know how, probably, with 0 numbers, like no dimensions and only constraints. And the only number I would have needed is the height to the center of this, which would be based on a formula. And then everything else probably could have been constrained. I guess I'd need this height and this radius. But these numbers that I used formulas, I probably could have figured out a way to constrain it to this existing drawing. I just don't know how to do that very well. Like to determine the relationships between things, I'm still learning. So there's a caveat on everything I just said, which is, of course, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like we're getting there. Though somehow, inexplicably, my desire to save things when there's no changes is maybe going to cause me problems someday. I don't know why, when I update these to the latest drawing, why these guys don't have an appearance. I don't know why that is. Not into it. Maybe there's something about the way I did the appearance, or I don't know. Okay, but anyway, let's go to our riser. This is the thing we're trying to make now. So no, I'm with you. I am a extremely aggressive saver. I think in the background it's also saving for me. It might also be saving online, which I didn't exactly mean to do, but I think it might be. Also like remote backupping. Yeah, I know. It's embarrassing. Well, it's tough because I feel like so many things autosave now really effectively. Like do a stellar job of autosave. So many pieces of software I use do it to the point that it's transparent. I still have the muscle memory of Control S or Command S, but most things do it very well. In fact, a year or two ago, I tried to use Atom, the text editor, and I just like closed it without thinking about it and opened it and my work was gone. And I was like, oh yeah, some programs still don't do that for you. But since this is definitely made for, I think this is made for environments where it is essential that you do not lose work, that I think it might also be saving online, like backing up online. Yeah, working online. So I think I think as I do this stuff, it syncs to Autodesk. But I tend to agree with you. I'm very paranoid about those. I don't have a lot of trust. Okay, so we have a cool polygonal constraint. Trying to think of how I want this to work, because what I would sort of like to do, the problem with something like this, certainly I can cut this piece out of a 5-foot square piece of Baltic birch. So this just gets routed. It probably actually has to be a little smaller, you know, like lose an inch or two, but I think that's good. Making the stand is more complicated, because if you were going to make a stand for this that was like fully, even if it had some overhang, if you wanted a pentagonal stand, you suddenly have angles on an axis that a CNC router can't cut. So either I just like cut boards on the CNC router and then use the miter saw to cut the miter myself, which would be fine, but I kind of want to like make the router do all the work. If I can. But I don't know how to do that. How would I do that? Okay, let me show, I'll show you. Let me make a component that is the side, whatever. And show you what my problem is. So if I wanted to make a board that would be one side of this, it would go from here to here. Oh, it's pretty weird to be... Wait, where did my... Lost my component. Wait, that's weird. Okay. What? Okay, I don't know what's going on, but we'll do a new drawing here. We're drawing on this big riser sketch. Then this angle has to be 30 degrees. Is that right? That doesn't look right. Is it 60? I think it's 60. And I don't have any of my variables here. So let's just do 0.75 for now. What? Why are you here? Did that make that angle the opposite of the way I wanted it? That was weird. Okay, draw a line. Go over here. Is it actually snapping on that? It may not be. I may have to project that through. Look, we're getting buggy and weird here. We started a sketch. Let's delete that sketch because I feel like things are getting weird. Okay, we want a sketch. And inside that sketch, we want a line. But are we able to snap to these? It kind of feels like we're not snapping to these. I think I'm not. So I think I have to project. the lines from this sketch through. I may be doing this totally wrong, of course. Goes without saying. Okay, now I can snap that here. Okay, so what I need to do is this line needs to be 0.75 inches and it needs to be 30 degrees. And now you should be 0.75. Okay. So that would give me a board. If I was going to do this kind of the normal way that if I was just going to make it and not worry about using the CNC router, I would make a board that looked like this. And it would be, I don't know, 12 inches. We've lost our parametric mindset. I would make a board that looked like this, that was that had these 30-degree miters on the side. But that's not a thing that you would do with a CNC router. And then I could do something fun. Well, we'll keep that because it'll be the top. Here's the thing, though. Can I change the radius of this sketch? Not of this sketch, of this sketch. And change this radius. So it's not 30 inches. So that it's more like that's a 2-inch overhang. 26 inches. And will that adjust my, yeah, okay. That adjusted that. That's cool. It's cool. So now we can do a circular pattern. And we want to do components, and we want this object, and we want the y-axis, and we want, wait, I said pentagonal. We want hexagonal. I blew it. Unless I can edit this and change the, we want hexagonal. I'm not sure if it will let me do that. Like, change the underlying shape of this. Well, that's too bad. Yeah, we'd want it to be hexagonal. So the distribution makes more sense. Okay, well, maybe we need to just start over. We can do it faster now. Okay, let's start with the top. And we will create an offset plane that is 12 inches up. Excuse me. Let's add some of our Riser height be 12 inches. And riser radius, let's say it's 28. I don't know if it uses radius or diameter for that, but we can double it if we need to. So is there anything else we need to know? Like a 2-inch overhang. But we'll inset the inside rather than the outside. So let's create a sketch on this plane. And let's make it polygon. And it will be an inscribed polygon. And it will be riser radius that's all I need to know, right? And then extrude this by 0.75. Okay. And then maybe we like slightly fillet these edges. I have a friend that I work with now and then, and sometimes he hires me and sometimes I hire him, and he does great work. He's a talented person, but on a project we worked on not too long ago, he lost work, and I had kind of that moment of like, how do you lose in this day and age? It does, you know, I was about to say it feels a little wasteful to cut this like this, but maybe we can find like maybe other little parts to sit in the corner or something. The enclosure of the bottom, I really would kind of like to do it. I don't know how. I think I have to do it on the miter saw. I think it's going to be a pain, actually. It's going to be a little annoying to try to build a hexagonal frame. Maybe I cut some like little angular corners on the table saw and use that to attach them. I don't know. Okay, that's our top. We want a new component called riser sides, and we want to start drawing here. And I think we still just want to create a polygon, and it will be an inscribed polygon, and that's not what I meant to do at all. Create a polygon, an inscribed polygon. Okay, this polygon is gonna be riser radius minus overhang divided by 2. I feel like it should actually not be divided by 2. Could be even. I feel like that overhang could be more, but whatever. Okay, so let's make it more. Now let's try to do our weird boards again. I'm torn on these boards. I will admit it. Okay, this is 60 degrees is correct, and then it's 0.75. I was wrong. What? I'm confused about what just happened. Okay, let's say I want to go from here to here. And then I want to go from here, like down here, 60 degrees, that's between those two. But I only want it to be 0.75 long. Maybe that was actually right, and it just looked weird. I think it was right, and it just looked weird. Okay, now, well, let's do the same thing on the other side. Why did it jump around in an insane way? I said, give me a line here, make it 60 degrees, 0.75, hit enter, and like what? What has happened? That seem weird? I have a different idea on how to do it. Okay, let's try it like this instead. Let's try, I should make it easier. Let's create an offset of thickness. Create an offset of negative thickness. Okay. So now, can I just draw lines between these? Yes. So what I want a line that's represented by this. Oh, I know what I need to do. This line, okay. Stop it. Escape. Okay. This perimeter, actually, really both of these, should be references. Or whatever they're called. They're just for construction. Okay, that's my problem. I was like drawing real drawings and using some of them as a reference, and that's no good. Okay. So now we want to get back here to here, and we want to get from here to here. Mike, is something wrong with my selection? I'm like not selecting the thing. Oh, did I accidentally finish my sketch? Right clicking is not working? I feel like sometimes stuff gets so weird here. Okay. So I don't know how to set these constraints. Like, I don't know why this is not considered good. Also, I feel like the top is really making things confusing. Wait. Oh, this was supposed to be in the top. Maybe that's part of my problem. And this was supposed to be in the top. And this was supposed to be in the top. I think origin is origin. Okay. Now let's edit this sketch. Okay, that looks a little less insane. So what's what's really wrong here? Because these guys have constraints. Okay, I just needed to fix those. Okay, so now this is all actually constrained. Now we can extrude it. We can extrude it. Riser. No, we can extrude it. Riser height. And we'll make a new body from that. Okay, turn this back on. Starting to make a little more sense. Now we want to do a pattern, a circular pattern. We want to pick this. We want to select this. And we want 6 sides. And they should, like, the mitered edges should all line up perfectly. And they look like they do. Okay. So we made a riser. And it's a riser that we can't just CNC. And that is not at all the end of the world. But it's just, what, 12 miter cuts where I could definitely make a mistake. So I might want to think of a different approach here. I'm going to think of like a different way to make this thing. And I can imagine a couple weird ones. I mean, in many ways, this is the cleanest because it's just an enclosed object and that's great. But I'm a little discouraged by the thought of it. It shouldn't be that bad. It shouldn't be that bad. You set up, you like get everything set up, you get measurements set up, you do your chops. It's just like, you know, it's hard enough to make like a picture frame with 4 45-degree angles. Really, I guess you cut 8 because you're cutting each board twice. But this is 12 60-degree angles, and it just feels like it's real easy to make sure a 45-degree angle is true. Okay, well, I have access to very talented shop people, so I'm sure they can help me out with it. Let's put some wood. Why is my put some wood on stuff button not working? Well, that's weird. Why would my put some wood on stuff? You know, Draclin, I've seen some stuff. Are you there? Draclin, are you there? Draclin, can you hear me? I have a message for you. It's about saving. It's about how I'm going to save you. I feel like I screwed something up. I did the circular pattern. Everything is happy. Oh, maybe I am in appearance mode. I just have it squished. That would be silly. It was like docked and closed. Okay. What do I actually have installed? What did we make the other one? Because I don't remember anymore. I thought it was pine. Adding materials from in this design. Oh, like drag it here. So if I went over to here and I did appearance, I could say in this design, and I could say I like this one and this one. By adding materials from in this design. How do you do it? Copy to my appearances. Okay. Sure. Does that go across files? Sure does. Okay. So we want all of these to have this. And then the top thing, we want to be some kind of matte something. Maybe we just leave it this. We really want like gray matte, but not translucent. Surface matte. A thing I don't like, here's the thing I don't like in the world, is the inconsistency. Command Z, Control Z is undo all over the place. The world is agreed on this. Redo is not consistent, and it drives me a little bit crazy. Okay, so now let's insert a riser. And let's just select the whole dang thing. Look at that. It's kind of cool. I don't know why these other appearances aren't showing. Might be a job for Google. Where is my cellular telephone? Oh yeah. Art is not living. It is the use of living. Okay, insert derive versus insert design. What's the difference? But it might be no reason to insert design from now on. Derive allows use of parts of the source. Maybe I didn't actually want to do derive. But like, what else would I have done? Insert derive seems like the only option. Maybe this was just an old post and now it really is the old option. Why is my appearance unhappy? Wait, weird, even weirder. The black top is there, just all the wood isn't. What? What? Okay. Can I like remove all appearances or something? Let's do this. Put this all on here. Remove appearances apply to faces. Yes, remove them all. Save this. Yes. Go over here. update everything to the latest. No, maybe that wasn't black. Maybe it was just a trick and it seemed shiny. It's like my circle. Whoa, that was weird. My circle-y pattern was not circle-y. Weird when I apply it here, it goes everywhere. How do I not show all these planes? Didn't we see a way to do that earlier? That was like... something. I don't want to see all these planes. In here. Environment, gray room. Environment, tranquility blue. Environment, dark sky. Environment, I think we say it's photo booth. Okay, but somewhere under here was maybe user work planes. Okay. Well, pretty cool, I guess. Oh, is this might, although I'm realizing this might be a terrible design. Because like, if that little bottom box looks like a step. That might be bad. Trying to think of what to do next. So like the current conceit here is that there is a There's a projector above all this. Somehow. So I could kind of imagine, I don't know exactly what that looked like actually, the top of it. How do you have 3 pieces of pipe come together? And also, how do you keep it stable? I guess you could make it some part of the base of that riser comes off. It's attached to the riser, and then just the base of the pipe stands right in there. So it'd be kind of cool if there were matte black pipes. What do they look at the top? What do they look like up there? And the one thing that is really lame, but just is like, just how things work, I think, is that projectors have an offset. So it wouldn't be like the lens was directly above the center of this. The lens would have to be offset to some degree. So maybe we need to, should we draw another drawing? Is this gonna work? No! Will it work if I just randomly plug things in and unplug them? Seems like no. Is that a no? What if I unplug from here and plug this in? This like Elgato capture of the iPad is not. Oh, wait. I mean, it knew the device was there. It just didn't know there was any video. Yeah, I need a better way to do this. But what is that way? One moment, please, it says. Everyone, one moment, please. Okay, so the way I think maybe this works. Are you going to actually do anything, or are you just going to say one moment, please, forever? One moment, please. One moment, please. That was a bit more than a moment, I'm gonna say. So the way I'm kind of imagining this, so if we have our oh yeah, we have our hexagon. It's a poor hexagon. And it's doing its thing. Then we might have pipes, and we got our kiosk boxes, you know, surrounding it. Then maybe we have pipes like this, and they come up to something up here that knows how to have pipes connected to it. I don't know what that is, but it's a something. So what's lame? So what seems like would be cool then is like, oh yeah, it'd be cool if the projector was dead center and the projector just projected straight down and everything was amazing. But that's just not. It's not how projectors work. There's an offset. So when you have a projector, like a consumer projector like this, it doesn't go like that. It goes, you know, and draw like this. It goes more like the image is going to be up here and goes like, in fact, it might, okay, this drawing's insane, but it's something like that, where it's not where you would think it would be. And there's different projectors and they have different offsets and you can tune them, but I just, in doing some shopping, I don't think I've seen one yet that is straight up like, yep, you project straight down and you get it. I will try to find that so I can project from the middle. Because then maybe what this top piece is like a piece of wood with a hole in the middle. And it's got something to mount the projector on. And then we have some way to mount these pipes. Something like that. I think that would look nicest. Maybe. Man, I like the way this thing looks right now. So I would sort of prefer to just mount a projector on the ceiling facing down, but the space that I'm in probably does not allow that, which is a bummer. But we could try. Can I do like an animation that just rotates the camera around? Funny if I just call this a study. It's not really a study, but I guess I could just take pictures from different angles. They're like a, is this the button? Probably could have drawn this in such a way that the home position was actually a little more sane. Maybe. Maybe they're always going to be a little weird. Cubes versus hexagons. There's just nobody wins. Maybe it wasn't too bad though. Oh shoot! I was still on the iPad. Sorry. I wasn't doing anything. I was just rotating. I was just rotating around. Glad I noticed that turn off out of the corner of my eye. So yeah, I kind of don't want to deal with the projector. Seems annoying. Like some tall thing with 2-inch radius pipe, something like that. It's just like shaky. You gotta run wires up there. Like, not that into it. Kind of lame that oh yeah, I guess I can. Don't lock the aspect ratio. Who's texting me? Who would text me at a time like this? The apartment building would. Okay. That actually worked? Does it like just save based on where the camera is? Well, that's kind of silly. We gotta learn how to take like beauty shots. AutoCAD beauty shot or a Fusion 360 beauty shots. Oh, Fusion, no. How to get realistic renderings. Oh. Render. What is that thing just flying in the sky there? Well, that's not a bad render. Nice blood red background. Ground plane, flatten the ground, reflections. That'll be a little rougher. Like this is not changing anything, is it? I like the music and the way it's kind of working with this strange rotations. What I need is some ambient occlusion. That's, I feel like, what we're really missing here. Perspective camera, exposure, some DOF. Ray tracing is enabled. Can you turn on ray tracing? Crossroads. Dry lake bed. Not making the computer suffer. Oh, these aren't downloaded. Of course. Skylight. Oh, the snowfield. There's not an environment rotation. Okay, what can we do? That's environmental brightness. That was too much. Oh no. Position. Okay, that's environment rotation. It's just so hot. The shadows are so intense from this side. I kinda don't want shadows. Move environment projection. I don't know what that does. I'll just reset it. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, camera. So depth of field implies that there are some I guess that's as rough as the ground kits. So what did we, when we tried to do this, it said when ray tracing is enabled. So I want to enable ray tracing. And I want a nice square picture. Okay. This can, you can really get out of my face. Get over there. Okay. Decals, texture map control, in canvas renderer. Render. Oh. Let's do a local renderer. What are these credits? Kill my computer. I don't know. I joked about playing Fusion 360 like it was a game, but now it's got like microtransactions. Why would I have to wait for my local renderer? There it is. Well, it's pretty cute. Yeah, you can go away. Didn't I just say? Okay, get out of here. Yes. So... Ooh, render as a turntable. What is this credits stuff? Two credits. What are you talking about? I got no credits, man. This is pretty weird. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know there were microtransactions in this CAD software. I'm not into that. I mean, it's pretty funny. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. How do I get out of this window? Go away. Get out of here. I don't want to. Leave me alone. How do I not look at this anymore? Escape? Escape? How do I get this window out of my face? Is Fusion just broken now? Did we break Fusion? Kind of feels like we crashed Fusion with stupid render issues. Cool. Well, nuts. Because I didn't pay enough credits. Hope I had everything saved. A weird program. I still think I like it, but it's a weird program. Here's the name in case you didn't know. I'm going to show it on the screen. Real big. Yeah. Let's recover. Okay. Let's try to not crash for no reason every time. If we can. But charging for a turntable is pretty lame. Well, that's kind of cool that you can highlight things in the... Okay, so we don't need a decal. Texture mapping controls. So we can do in-canvas render settings. Is that what we want? Not many settings. Okay. I mean, these aren't tremendous tremendously beautiful objects with tremendously beautiful textures. So these renders are not. I know that we're getting a lot of bang for our buck out of these. Are we just letting? There's this little meter that you can't see that is cruising. So, what do we want to do? Kind of want to say that this is a study. Kind of don't want reflections. I kind of don't want the shadows, actually. So the depth of field says only visible when ray tracing is turned on. But where is that all post-processing stuff that you have to pay for? Like, what if I don't want shadows? Because I don't think they look very good. Hmm. I mean, you know, what do we want to do here? How did we find the button that let us rotate the environment? Oh, that's very shiny, turns out. And looks very silly. How did we rotate the environment? Remember when that was in my face and I wanted it out of my face, and now I regret it. I messed up. Where was that thing? Where was the thing that let us rotate the environment? This? This button. Okay. Just so that those super bright lights are not right on the face, because it looks silly. Yeah, that's a problem since we use like glossy paint for those. Where was that one that was just called Photo Booth? They look like nice little toys. Good job, little toys. I don't really know how I want to show it. I don't know if I want to show it. I'm just clicking buttons at this point. My mind is still a little blown about this online rendering they offer. It's pretty weird, right? Submit it to home, my own computer. Stop the in-canvas renderer. Not let this do its job. I kind of want to do renders though that are like show the wireframes and stuff, but does not really seem like that's a thing I can do. Am I rendered, like, you happening? Why would there be a queue to render it on my own computer? Did I not say my own computer? Local render, standard. Local render, standard. Lossless ping, render. Okay. Maybe not too insane. A little insane, but not too insane. But to even have to have credits to have like a high quality local render, that seems pretty nuts. Blowing my mind a little bit. Can I go do other stuff while we're still rendering? I would hope. So I want like a very centered, nice screenshot of this. Is that not a thing I can have? An electronics design. Does that mean I can do... I did PCB design in 360? Autodesk bought Eagle, and you get it... I wonder if this uses that. Like, $1080. Will this really just do the middle here? I'm confused. It's just not centered. Like, how can I guess that's how I can. Okay. Wrong button. Whoops. No, I didn't need to zoom all the way out there. Maybe if I do fit, and then capture image. That's not bad. That's not bad. How's our render doing? D6 render. Oh, a bad little render. Okay, I guess this is our study for the day. Right? Okay, we made a thing. I don't know why there's one heat marker in the corner. How long has that been there? It's just been sitting there all day. I kind of highly doubt that any of this will actually go into final, like, you know, real deal work. But I feel like it helped me understand a little better how to use the software and kind of what I want to get out of it, which is good. So I have a long way to go. I still have a lot to learn. We have no fasteners in this image. We don't know how any of the stuff is assembled. We still have that problem with the mitered edges on the hexagon, not pentagon. And we don't know anything about cable management. And we don't know anything about any of the hardware that goes into this. Yeah, I think these are inside these. I was about to say, we don't know anything about the additional hardware. So probably those 3D displays will be mounted in these panels, and either they'll stick up or they'll be recessed. Down here is where whatever electronics we need to go. There might need to be, underneath here. There's not enough room to rear project. I'd have to make it taller to rear project, and rear projection's just like kind of scary and annoying. So probably ideally there could be a ceiling mount projector that projects down here. So you go to your screen, you make your little friend, and you release it, and then it's released out here. Is the current idea. Maybe. So the hex surface is where the projection, so we're projecting top down onto this. Either the projector is mounted to the ceiling, or we have to build an additional, like, projector mounting system, which will be kind of annoying. But I think I know how to do it. I did a drawing over here. Seems like maybe an idea. Thanks. I was going to tell you something, Jacqueline. What was it? It was so important. It was critical information for you. Oh, I was going to say something that's cool. Like, speaking earlier about saving things, Sketch, the design software Sketch, has a version control system that's almost like Git, where you check stuff in and out. Should be pretty cool. These screens swivel by the user or power user. Are users and power users different? I don't think they swivel. I think it's just a design element. Maybe they're at different angles for different heights. I just like the way it looks, I think. I don't know. I mean, a lot of this is just me kind of figuring things out. So these are just having them swivel and hold the weight of this pretty expensive display in the middle. I don't know about that. They probably give me some room to adjust. But then there's, very likely there's like 3 bolts right here. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the thing that's maybe more important to adjust is the height. Height is a real challenge at the Children's Museum because you got really little kiddos and you got adults. This is a museum lab that caters to a slightly older audience. They are top heavy. They're probably pretty tippy at the moment. So a lot of times what we do at the museum is like have little angle brackets and then bolt those into the floor. Or they'll have a little platform, and the little platform will go to the floor. But yes, they're probably very top heavy and very tippy at the moment. And tippy is bad. You could also imagine that they're somehow attached to this thing. So especially if we have to do the thing where something comes out of here to be part of a projector mount, like where the projector stand attaches to it, then there might be little things coming off of here. I'm trying to get the radial symmetry going, even in the design of the exhibit. But I also am trying to make it in a way that I know I can make it myself, like fabricate it all myself. So all of this should be able to go onto a CNC router pretty easily, get cut and get assembled. If I am not picky about visible fasteners, it's real easy, because then I just have screws all over the place. Projector to project onto this. The projector's gonna need, projectors suck. The projector needs to be above almost certainly, and it will have to be to the side because projectors have an offset where they don't project straight like they do, not like this, like a flashlight. They're usually kind of tilted up because that's normally what you'd want. I'm going to try to find a zero offset projector and then project down, but sit at the base of the screen. Ultra short throw. Ultra short throw have even more intense offsets though. Sometimes they're even above, like your projector's down here and the throw is up here, and that's not what I want. It's pretty hard to account for that. It's possible I could, but I don't think with this particular layout, I don't think, maybe I could have an upside down. Well, another thing, ultra short throw projectors, of course, really want to, they want to project on walls. But I could potentially have a right next, like here on the wall, even almost like if it was close to the wall, have an ultra short throw projecting down. That is a possibility. I don't know where this goes though, but it's a possibility that I could have. It's a possibility I could have a projector and just with the that offset be mounted on the wall and not need to have a stand that goes over this. But I think a standard that goes over it might be kind of cool. But I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in the world that's just made by a person, I think. Really, like one of the things that's really nice about the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh and their aesthetic is their stuff looks like humans made it. It's like wood and metal and screws, and it's like, oh yeah, humans made this thing. And we do pretty often use a exhibit fabrication company now to put the stuff together, but it looks like humans made it versus like enormously expensive materials and processes that you might have at like really high-end science museums. But I like that aesthetic, and I like it because it's a thing a person can make. So this is not going to probably look like, it's not going to look like a commercial project because it's not. It's an art project by an individual. So it's going to look like an art project by an individual who doesn't have $1 million budget to fabricate. But that's okay. I like this stuff. I like Baltic birch plywood. I don't know quite what the surfaces are. I think it's maybe some kind of lamination. I think that might be fun to try to do. I don't think it would be very hard. I think I just get some black lamination and maybe after either you laminate it on. I don't think it's painted. Its easiest thing would certainly be painted, but I think it's more like use contact cement and some kind of laminate, and it'll be much more durable. And then you would I'm trying to decide if you could use the router through that. You probably could. So you either, but then there's too much chance of like chipping and stuff, I would guess. So I think what you would do, like the way you would do a countertop, is you would have whatever the surface is. You'd have a slightly bigger piece of whatever the material, your laminate material was, and then you use contact cement. You put it on both sides, let it dry for a minute, and then stick it together, and it's like the stickiest stuff on the face of the earth. There are gonna be, yeah, fencing is a real thing. So this museum lab is older kids, but yeah, I don't really want hands on this. So it may be that some sort of fence or boundary becomes part of the design, but it gets hard to do because little kids will crawl under stuff and like, they don't care. They'll run up and put their hands on it. Probably the biggest flaw in the design as it exists so far is you really want to be sure you don't present this in such a way that it looks like a touchscreen. One, because it's not gonna be. You won't be able to touch it. The edges? No, I think it'll be okay because you use a router and a roundover bit, and that contact cement is good stuff. And hopefully people won't be banging into it too much. I think it'll hold up on this surface, but maybe not. Maybe it's just paint. It might just be paint. Paint and polyurethane is tough. It might just be blonde wood. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I don't have these dark elements. I don't know. But yeah, the biggest flaw is, how do you say don't touch this? And that's, I like that one reference. But also I don't have to figure out all this stuff. You know, it's not totally on me to solve all these problems. I'll present it to the museum where there are incredibly experienced exhibit designers and exhibit fabricators, and they will in a heartbeat point these things out to me and be like, yeah, you can't do that because whatever, the laminate's going to chip, or because of whatever. Like, I liked this reference where very clearly you could still get under this and touch it, and kids probably do, but like, it's pretty clear that the interface is separate from that. And it's like, okay, the thing I'm doing is here and not down here. I mean, it might even be, maybe even there's like some other little things on these three sides, and there's leap motions there, and the leap motions let you tickle all the monsters. I don't know what it is yet. We will see. I don't. Well, but with the sand, it's a sandbox, and you want people to touch it, right? Typically. You're talking about projection on interactive sandboxes. Yeah, I don't want that. I want to very clearly communicate with the design that you don't touch that. And I think that's why I like that reference, is because I think that reference does a reasonably good job of saying, you're not supposed to touch this thing. That's why there's this rail around it. That's why these interfaces are here. Versus all of these other things, and this is hard because this is language that's out in the world, all these other things you're supposed to touch. And so it maybe you should touch that thing. Maybe you should be able to touch it. I don't have incredibly easy ways to do that. There's some ways to do it, but not super duper easy ways to do it. But there's ways to do it. Yeah, that's not going to work. Signage and iconography will be trumped by just the inviting view. Little kids won't care. They'll want to touch it. But it could, maybe you do touch it. One of a resident artist at the museum last year did something. It's pretty cool, actually. It was a smart idea, and I like it. So he made an interactive touch wall in a way I had never seen before. And it seems to be holding up. It's not incredibly accurate, but it's pretty dang cool. It's 360 degree LiDAR, but flat. It's like a radial LiDAR. Yeah, so what you do, you have somewhere, it could be in the middle of the circle, I guess, but it could also be on one of the edges. And you, this little dude just spins around and gives you points. And then if I had it in the center, it would actually be easier, but I can like, the way he did it was mounted at the top, and then you have like an angle and a radius, and then it's like a polar coordinate to Cartesian coordinate thing. And then you can figure out where people's hands are. And it works. It works. It seems to work. So that's a possibility. Then I have grubby hands all over that surface, which is probably okay. Except I wanted to use some kind of ambient light reduction thing. I'm really worried about ambient light. That's one of the things I'm most concerned about. I don't like this kind of, one thing I really don't like about this though is like your hands are occluding the projection. Like I just never liked that very much. And so the alternative option is rear projection, but then boy, that's pain. It's definitely possible, but it's a pain. But whatever. I mean, this is like super, well, yeah, I think that thing is very much for prototyping. I don't think that's really like a consumer project. I think that's a thing that goes in something else probably. But this is just, it is extremely likely that the thing I make bears no resemblance to this, or is a highly modified version of this. Like this is me doing a few hours of work on stream, and so I don't really expect. This is a thing to get out into the world, show the museum, and get some feedback, and just see what they think. I kind of like the shape. I kind of like the forms. I think I like them. Yeah, it'll be. I mean, it's like almost like a really blunt form of projection mapping, where I'll just mask the projection. So I will only the image itself, like it won't be physically masked. The image itself will just be a shape, and maybe it's not a hexagon, maybe it's a circle. The bottom base is probably still a hexagon, but the top surface maybe it's a circle. Or maybe it's not even like this. I don't know. Maybe these little kiosks go against the wall and the projection's on the wall. I really don't know yet. A lot of it is going to start to depend on where it goes. Like that's going to quickly become a concern. If it goes in a place with a low enough ceiling, is this to scale? It is, but the textures aren't. But yeah, it's all. I mean, it's a guess of scale, since I don't have the screens to put in here yet, so I don't know those dimensions. And I mean, these are all just me guessing. This isn't the screen. This is the panel that the screen would be mounted in. So the screen would be here, and then if I want knobs and dials or the leaf motion would be mounted here. So this is just a panel. The screen is probably much smaller. Way smaller, in fact, because I'm getting the 1/8 inch, the 8.9 inch diagonal ones. They're just like little babies. Cute little babies. I have one on the way. In fact, it may be arriving today, but I won't get it until next week when I coordinate museum pickup. Yeah, actually, I'm kind of thinking of this against, like, it wouldn't have to be against a wall. It would just have to be near a wall. Like, if the wall was back here, then the projector could kind of project down from the wall Is that really true? Or would I, it'd be really hard to do that and not cast shadows. Have these cast shadows. So that may actually not be reasonable. Maybe it would have to be on an arm off the wall, maybe. But the ceiling, if I can make it work with the ceiling, seems maybe ideal. Okay, awesome, Draclin, thanks for hanging out. I think I'm done. I think we're done here. So this was largely about just exploring these ideas and exploring Fusion 360. So we did it. And I think we're like we've got to start on something. We've got a long way to go for sure, but we've got to start. So have a lovely day, and I will see you maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Who can say? Goodbye.